Welcome, Mr. President, from Tunisia and all who have come with him. It's our delight to have you here. As the Deputy Speaker has rightly said, we are all very fascinated by the changes in your country. Obviously, being at the forefront of what's variously called the Arab Spring, the Arab Awakening, we're very much looking forward to hearing about the changes and how you are managing that process. As time goes on, those of us who are interested in the work of the IPU and other organisations such as the Westminster Foundation for Democracy, we're very conscious of the hard work that is going in to developing a constitution and building your own version of democracy, which is very important. I was due to lead a visit back in September of the IPU group from the UK to Tunisia, but we decided in discussion with your Parliament to wait on that because of the absolute importance that you rightly accord to developing your democracy and putting in place your constitution. So we know that we will be having a visit, and I'm very much looking forward to it because although I have visited Morocco several times, I've never had the pleasure of going to Tunisia. I'm now particularly looking forward to it because I've discovered from reading the President's biography that we actually overlapped by all of a year in Strasbourg some 30 odd years ago where he was a doctor and I was doing my year as a student learning French, and also we can probably try this a little later. Both of us know a little of the local dialect Alsatian. He out of necessity, me because I was a linguist. So it's a very interesting connection for me, at least. We're very pleased the President's going to address us shortly, but he's decided that he really wants to spend most of the time in discussion, and so we will be having a question and answer session, and I'm sure it will prove most fascinating. Thank you so much for taking the time to visit us, and we look forward to your words to us.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thank you for this meeting. I feel very honored and very moved also to be here because, as I was saying to the Deputy Speaker, that coming from a newborn democracy like Tunisia, being here is just like doing a pilgrimage, because I do understand, I do know that everything originated from this place, this area, this country. This is why I feel very honored, really, and very moved to be here. Well, I'm not going to talk much. Just I would like to hear and to answer your question, but I would like to remember you that the Tunisian revolution has not only put an end to the former authoritarian regime, it has also questioned some prefixed representations of politics in Muslim majority country. One cannot count the number of commentators both in East and the West who firmly believe that democracy is incompatible with Islam and with the so-called Arab culture, and that democracy is the exclusive property of the West. This discourse indeed omitted a number of facts. On the one hand, dreadful dictatorship have developed in the West. On the other, Egypt, Syria, and Iraq have had parliamentary regimes before and after the Second World War. And the wave of military coup came in response to the corruption and incompetence of these weak regimes, not to any so-called Islamic or Oriental tradition. Populist authoritarian regimes have flourished in the 1960s and the 1970s throughout the Arab world. Some were pro-Western, such as in Tunisia. Others were more reluctant towards the West. And we know that the outcome of such regime was incompetent, brutal, and corrupt dictatorship, feeding discontent and opposition, and leading ultimately to the revolution. This is exactly what happened in Tunisia and the Arab Spring as a whole. So now we are facing a new situation. We have to deal with a lot of challenges, political challenges, economic challenges, and so forth. And we have to build a new democracy in this part of the world. This democracy should be stable, should be also an example for the whole Arab world, because Tunisia is currently being kind of lab. And we do know that if we do not succeed probably the democracy would have a lot of difficulties to settle in any other part of the Arab world. This is why we feel that we have huge responsibility on our shoulders. This is why we believe that we have to work hard. Well, of course, to succeed, we need a lot of factors. We need luck, because if you don't, sometimes this is just what you need, luck. We need also help and support from our friends, and I think our European friends, our Western friends now are going to back us, because they do understand that, in fact, democracy means also peace, means also means also friendship between nations, means the end of this myth of the struggle of civilization, clash of civilization, and so forth. And so we expect really to be backed by our Western friends. We expect also to be backed by socially, economically, culturally, and so forth, because if we share the same values, if we have the same kind of regime, this would mean that probably peace would be possible, not only between the European and Arabs, but also probably in the Middle East itself. Because if we do have democratic state, I hope this could be a pace to the better. I wouldn't say this would solve the problem between Israeli and Arabs, but probably it would help. So this place where I told you, I think that everything originates from here, and this is why I feel really very moved and very proud to be here. We know that we have this responsibility, not only for Tunisia, but for the whole Arab world. It's honor, it's a responsibility, but it's also huge honor. So you probably are going to ask me a question about the challenges, the difficulties, and I'm going to respond to you with honestly, and you will probably see that it won't be easy. This is why I was talking about needing a lot of luck. So let's begin by listening to our questions.
Mr. President, thank you so much, and Mr. Secretary, but Mr. President in particular, for being so generous in your time this afternoon, and for reminding us all, in the nicest possible way, that as progressive Democrats, that a vibrant democracy based on peace is also based on human rights, strong civil society, active participation by the citizens, tolerance and openness. And I think all of us understand that in the participation of politics, we all need a lot of luck. As you rightly identified, sometimes more luck than other times. But in closing this afternoon, I would like to thank, on behalf of everybody present, the way that you were prepared to so openly engage with us in what are some very difficult and sensitive subjects for all of us. But I think we've all learnt a lot. You referred several times to our democracy. Well, we're still practicing at getting it right, and I think in exchanging views with you today, we can take that forward as well. So in what is a very busy and demanding timetable that you have, can I ask everybody to show their appreciation for fantastic afternoon's discussion, and whether it's luck, economic trade, holidays, support, or writing articles, that we express our thanks today to the President as a fine example of a great democrat.